Hey, what is up guys? In this episode I'm going to go over the actual camera setup, especially if you're using a DSLR. I'll show you how to get your camera set up to shoot video, and I'm going to explain some of the issues that some people may face when they're first starting off shooting videos with their DSLR. I'll show you how to fix them. Anyway, let's get right into the controls of the camera and setting it up to shoot video. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is put your camera into video record mode, because you're not going to be able to access some of the video settings unless it's in the video mode. So on the Canon 70D, it's right here by the start stop button. Just flick that on. If you're using a Canon Rebel, it's going to be on the dial on the top of the camera. But once you're in movie mode, you can go ahead and press menu and then find the little icon that looks like a video camera. So for the autofocus method, I keep it in this one with a smiley face plus tracking. The other stuff in this menu I just leave alone. That's just pretty much how the camera comes. And then the next, there's two movie menus on this camera. The next one, the movie record size, I do 1920 by 1080. That's going to give you 1080p video, and 30 frames per second. That's the frame rate that I choose to use. And the compression, I keep it on all I. Now, depending on the camera that you're using, you may or may not have this option, but basically the all I, it takes up a little bit more space, but you're going to get slightly better image quality, and it's going to be a file that's better suited for editing. If you're worried about taking up a lot of space on your memory card or your computer, you can switch to the IPB compression, but it's not going to give you as much flexibility while you're editing the video. Again, you may or may not have this option on your camera. So the digital zoom I have disabled because I never use that. Sound recording, for my microphone, I just leave the sound recording on auto, and I find that it works perfectly well for me. You also have an option on this camera to switch it to manual that allows you to manually adjust the gain. But for me, for my videos, just leaving it on auto tends to work really well for me. So now as far as setting up the actual exposure for the camera, the first thing I'm going to touch on is the shutter speed. So the shutter speed for video is going to be double whatever the frame rate is. So right now I've got the camera set at 30 frames per second, so the shutter speed is going to be at 60. So this is what it would look like if you tried to have like a really high shutter speed while the camera is panning. It kind of gives a really weird effect, so you definitely want to stick to that golden rule of having your shutter speed double the frame rate. So that's why I keep mine at 60 when I'm shooting 30 frames per second. Alright, so the next thing is the ISO, and for mine I try not to go above 200. Usually if I have to go above 200, that means that the area that I'm working in is too dark anyway, and if that's the case, I'll just move to an area with more light or go outside or something. The reason that you don't want to go too high is because the higher up you go with the ISO, you're going to get more noise, and it's going to make your shot look kind of pixelated. So that's the reason that usually 400 is like the absolute max that I would ever go, but the camera has the option to go all the way up to 6400. Definitely wouldn't recommend that. If you have to go that high, you probably want to invest in some lighting or just move to an area with more light. So this is what it looks like if you try to crank up the ISO really high and record in a dark setting. You can see the noise on the screen there, and I'll zoom in on it just so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. The next thing is the aperture. This is going to be one of the main ways that you control how much light gets into the camera, and this is actually controlling the aperture on the actual camera lens. The higher up you go, that opening is getting smaller and it's letting in less light, or if you open it up more, it's going to let in more light. Now the lens that I have on here right now only goes to f4. Of course I've got my other lens that goes to f1.4, which is what I'm recording on right now. That's why I'm in a room that's kind of dark, and you can see the picture actually looks pretty good because that lens opens up so wide. Also, as far as the aperture goes, the wider it is, like at f1.4, you're going to get that nice shallow depth of field where your subject is in really sharp focus and the background is totally blurred out. That's how you do that. So right here what you're seeing is an example of the camera lens at f1.4. You can see how blurry the background is, and it makes for some really nice cinematic shots. Okay, the next thing for setting up your camera is of course the white balance, which is right here on the side. And this is super easy, you know, it doesn't take a professional to figure this out. It gives you an actual picture of what each thing is. So depending on the condition that you're filming in, whether it's daylight, shade, clouds, tungsten light, you can just pick the one that you're shooting in. Also, there's an auto setting. I wouldn't recommend that because it's usually, I find that it doesn't work very well. But anytime that there's daylight in the shot, even if it's just light coming through my window, I just use this option and it works pretty well for me. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about setting up your camera, please leave a comment below. I would be more than happy to help you out with that. Let me know what you think of the series of how to make YouTube videos. I'm really excited about making these videos for you guys. I love helping you out with your YouTube channels. But anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.